Good afternoon. What is
Good
going on?
afternoon is right.
Welcome, Danksy, Tyler, Crypto G.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you?
Blessed and highly favored, bro. Blessed and highly favored.
Love it.
Hump day. I thought it was Monday.
Today is Monday. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a Monday though to me. I don't know about you guys, but
Well,
it
it's
feels like
holiday Monday.
it.
Oh yeah, it is a
Like
holiday.
Canadian
Happy
holiday.
Monday, guys. Welcome back. Another pivotal time in the week. Yeah, pretty bad Monday actually. Just straight down today.
Yeah, I see that.
Since we last talked, I was feeling pretty good. But now, not so much. But I think it's just a small pullback. How's your weekend, guys? Besides the whole crypto situation.
I've had a good weekend. We have this little like fair/fest going on in town, so I went out to that for a little bit. Hung out with some friends and family. Worked a little bit. Watched some football on Sunday, but yeah, it was pretty good weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much was kind of helping some people out with the hurricane, bro. Hurricane just came through, so pretty much the whole west coast of Florida's got a couple feet of sand everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
So pretty wild, but luckily everybody, my family, personal family was okay.
It's good to hear. Sad everything that happened, but it's just crazy. Them hurricanes. There's supposed to be apparently a few more coming.
Yeah, bro, they're pretty wild, but other than that, man, it was pretty good. Just helping some friends out, friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, aren't hurricanes supposed to get like worse and worse every year due to like climate change or something?
Oh, they might. I don't really know exactly how it works, to be honest with you, bro. But I'm originally from Illinois, where we don't got hurricanes. We just got like an occasional tornado. And let me tell you, dude, there's something different about having like a fucking storm. Sorry, I'm swearing. A storm that's like 250 miles wide coming at you at 30 miles an hour, and it's got like 150 mile an hour winds or 130 mile an hour winds, and you just know it's gonna hit you, just not exactly where, if it's direct. Like it's an interesting feeling. It's like an uncertain death almost, bro. You kind of just accept your fate.
Yeah, tornadoes aren't as bad, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, they're very on the spot.
Less odds of getting hit. But then if you do get hit by a tornado, you're also kind of
about as much damage as a hurricane would do, though.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
But let's get into it here.
Let's go. I do have a hard stop in an hour. Gotta make make some meatballs, some family eats.
Hey.
So yeah, we'll get through it all, and go from there. Onto the macro. I just switched my screen completely here. Go to slide 2. And so Bitcoin had a nice rally over the week. We have kind of hit a 2-month high over the last range. We've since retraced, pulled back. China enters a pretty large stimulus package, reduction of mortgage rates, etc., stimulating across the economy. Stocks have just soared in China. It's basically like a meme chart. Some of their markets. We also have some more of the Japanese yuan kind of carry trade also still kind of going on here a bit. FTX repayments kind of came in, and everyone kind of got a little over excited on that. Looks like that maybe still drawn out quite some time. The process is ongoing here, and eventually that'll happen. The latest I'm kind of hearing is maybe 2025, with bits of it happening beforehand, but the majority into next year. That whole kind of scenario can take some time. So, and then there were some interesting meme coin runs.
Oh, am I lagging? I can't tell.
You were lagging, spacing out. Come back at us. What were we saying?
So I just missed some of it. Were you talking about the rate cuts for the 25?
No, I was talking about FTX disbursements. Rate cuts though as well. Another kind of news headline. Up to I think 4 cuts this year. I expected maybe a whole 1% over the next few months here. So, again, kind of gonna kick off a bunch of movement on the risk side assets, etc. So I think there's a lot of good tailwinds for crypto in general. Even Kamala, sorry, did have a mention of blockchain in one of her speeches there, and supporting it as a fundamental kind of national kind of priority, right? So there's that as well. So overall, crypto's looking pretty good on the NFT sides. Kind of flat, a bit of 7 to 9% retracement over the last, say, week on a lot of NFTs. Of course, with Ethereum rebounding fairly well and crypto running, then you're going to get a bit of a down repricement as it is. So, really kind of almost sideways action when you look at it maybe in USD terms. But, Punk's up a bit, Apes up a bit over the last 24 hours. Yoga Pet's kind of the big winner. But some news on the when we look at VFriends, they're coming up with an animated series. I think premieres tomorrow. So that was one. Of course, we talked about that pump last week. And so some more kind of positive releases across NFT space, which is great. And in meme coins, I think the big one is Mudang, roaring up to over 300 mil. I think I was kind of sleeping on that one as I caught up on it here today. But a few other ones doing well. Our dog, basically retweet dog. Mars 3AC was about the I think a recent buy, etc. going on there. So just a bunch of meme coin action popping up and stuff like that. So some interest there on there. And then prediction markets, Polymarket did reach number 2 news app. I don't know if I would consider Polymarket a news app, but I also didn't realize Polymarket had an app. Their app is really limited, but it is also super awesome in the sense of when it comes down to prediction markets around the political sphere, it's a pretty cool app and well laid out for just that purpose alone. So worth checking out with that. So I'm gonna pause. Comments on any of this or thoughts?
Bro, freaking Mudang, dude. Who would have knew you to be such an icon? I should have listened to my girlfriend when she sent me like 30 freaking TikToks on Mudang and Pesto. Surprised Pesto isn't one as well. He's a penguin. But bro, like I didn't. How do you know?
Right now.
No, if anything gets viral on the internet, then absolutely check for the meme coin because it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live had a bit on Mudang as well, and that's really where the fury kind of kicked off as well with it. But yeah, just an absolute cook. Pulling back, I think, a bit from its all-time high. Might be an interesting one if it cooks or comes back even more. But yeah, I mean, we'll look into it as we go. But Mudang works well. It works
bro,
well.
It's a good meme. It's definitely a good meme. I actually like that one. Honestly, it's probably my favorite. Just because I was watching the memes of him beforehand. And then I seen like the token. I'm like, dude, how dumb of me. Like I wasn't even thinking about crypto. I'm over here, distracted by Mr. Mudang himself.
You have to always be thinking about crypto and meme applications.
Facts, bro.
Yeah. That's how you really get in early.
I slept on Mudang.
Into crypto. So we got this rally. Maybe if we go to the daily, we can kind of look at the Monday, Tuesday switch here and see where we're at. I think last Monday was it was an up and down day, right? So it was a red day and we rallied out of it. Kind of a sideways day, but it was a little harder to predict given the fact that we were kind of moving sideways. Where a lot of these Monday, Tuesdays, it's like just an opposite flip, right? So like we're looking at a pullback here Monday.
Like today.
if the Tuesday trend repeats, I think tomorrow we return back to a bit of a green day. We'll see. We'll take a look at the charts, but I just wanted to take a look at that first off. But we're getting this kind of pullback retracement. So all really started when we broke out of this range right here, this 60, 62 range, moved out, tested out a channel that I have marked out on a longer range, kind of looking at really sorry, let's move it right here. So this downtrend channel that we have where it's kind of gone up and down in this range all the way through, tap the top of that channel. We break above that channel, I think, a lot more positivity in the sense of where it's going. But on the downside, just a wild swing down. Probably, it's holding this 2-hour range. Could be a nice little level of support, and then back up into Tuesday, test the 66, 66.5, and roar from there. That's the ideal bull case. Otherwise, maybe a sharp pullback and then rally from there, which I think is the most conducive to a breakout. Is kind of some unexpected kind of pullback and then rally. So there are a couple elements, on the macro side of things, whether it's kind of the Middle East still getting a little bit more uncertain, a little bit more turmoil going on there, and then there's also the what's going on in Japan, and that kind of macro event there. So two elements could result in a bit of a pullback. Otherwise, I mean, there's so much kind of bullish energy behind Bitcoin in general that it may already kind of be forcing its way up. So what's the thoughts?
I also saw today, seems pretty legit. I've been seeing a lot of my algorithm today that there's a lot of the eastern side of the country ports. There's like a big strike that might happen tonight at midnight, which that affects like 35% of the supply chain or something I saw. And it could be a big mess if it actually happens and they don't get it fixed quick.
Which port are you talking about?
There's like, it's ports all the way from like New York down to like Florida into the Gulf and stuff. It's like 45,000 workers, I think it would affect.
Yeah, I believe it was a port and Teamster strike.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that could be that sentiment that could bring us down a little bit again, but I don't see much, like, there's a lot of bullish sentiment as well on Bitcoin. So
I feel like that's kind of priced in on if we're talking equities, right? Because they announce these strikes as a bargaining chip. They don't just surprise it on the companies,
Yeah, apparently they haven't talked about, or anybody from, I don't know, the leaders of it or whatever who's ever negotiating hasn't been to the table in a couple months or something. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it actually is true. We'll know in about like probably 4 hours here. So depending on, I don't know, sure they're probably going off Eastern time. So probably good 5.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Bitcoin goes, bro, I'm kind of with you. I like where it's sitting. I want to see it I want to actually see it hold. I know we're kind of wicking down, but I want to see it hold either the 63,532, which we're kind of currently below. As far as like a daily candle, though, I want to see us hold like the next one. I want to see open above there. I think we might potentially even come down to about 61, like maybe what is that, 61, 383, I think it is. I think we could come down there, touch those levels too. But either it's hard to say, man. I think like you said, there's a lot of bullish sentiment. To predict the market's a little tougher, but to see where it stops here, I think would be a good indicator on if we're going to continue up or not. And especially like leaning into Aave too, because Aave is one of those again that I've been using as an indicator for the rest of the market going up as well. It's kind of at a pivotal level at like a 156, sitting at a long-term 50% level. So honestly, bro, I want to see Aave hold that too. And I also want to see Bitcoin stay above that 61 for sure. I want to see it stay at about 61,408 roughly. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I just want to see where we stop here. I'm glad you brought up the pattern again, Garrison. I don't think you were here last week, but we were
No.
looking at, like, I think Danksy brought it up, how like every Tuesday was almost like a pivotal day in the market, because we're on these calls every Monday, and then if you look, like, the next day was like a pivotal day, like the market like turned around, or
That's fair.
reversed, or went the other way, or continued up. So that's what he was checking in the beginning, bro.
I think what we talked about was that the weekends normally quiet, which was true, right? The weekends normally quiet, and then Monday plus Tuesday is just a huge move, and we got that huge move today, at least. Kind of a pullback on the move up last week. I think pivotal day, going up or down, whether we'll see more downside or whether Bitcoin will be going up from here. Definitely a level that has some supportive tendencies. So let's see. I think today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday are going to be pretty important days for the next move on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see it hold right here, and then kind of right at that 61K level, if depending on what it does here. Tomorrow could be another important day. It is
Agreed.
looking.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto
Yeah,
Bird
dude,
is here. We normally don't get Crypto Bird this early in the space, so I'm trying to get his input.
Yeah, kind of lucky. I got both my kids just terrorizing me right now.
We got the early bird, so the worm is here.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't
it's
know. I don't know much about the very soon term, but I do know October's coming up, and there's a lot of bullish sentiment just around October in general.
Yeah.
With, I said it last time, usually historically October is one of the best months for Bitcoin and crypto in general. So
Mhm.
I kind of want to lean on that a little bit, but there is a lot of stuff going on in the market, and elections coming up. It's the fourth year, so I don't know about the short term.
Yeah, I would like to wake up and see that these strikes didn't happen, and then it's October, and then it's just good to go.
Some October
I don't know how
action.
much the strikes will really affect crypto, though. It'll more affect, like, who knows?
Yeah, bro, it'll be
I guess the
interesting.
sentiment could.
Yeah,
I think the
it'll
strikes
be
are pretty much priced in. I don't think, unless it drags on like unreasonably long and they can't get back to the table and negotiate. I think
Yeah, if it's things just happen super quick with, like, if it's like a week long, it could even be pretty bad.
Yeah, I seen a thing. It said it was around $5 billion in losses a day, and they said that Biden was just like refusing to be a part of it. So I don't really know how that's going to affect everything. That's a lot of money, though. That's $5 billion a day is a ton of money, dude.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. One, if it even happens. I might stay up till that time tonight just to see. But
little event. Yeah, bro. As far as
surprisingly, the
Bitcoin,
last week, ETH has been performing pretty well compared to Bitcoin. Good to see that change of pace over the last, I don't know, like couple months now, like 8 months, 6 months, 5 months. That ETH has been sleepy now. ETH is kind of outperforming. I mean, on the very short term, at least, it's a pretty good sign.
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about the Tron network was popping off, and I said I wanted to see it catch traction, and fortunately it didn't. It didn't do too much. It was like a short-lived thing, at least in my timeline and my Telegram and things like that. But something I've noticed lately is Ethereum plays, especially on meme coins, have been coming out of the woodworks, dude. Like they just keep coming. So every Telegram channel, there's not many Soul calls, not many Tron calls, not many BSC calls. It's been all ETH calls. So I'm not sure how that plays in, but I do know it's a lot more active than it was a couple weeks ago.
yeah, in Ethereum terms, it is looking pretty strong. If we can hold this, it's kind of at a little bit of a support range right here at like 25.54 to like where it's at right now. If we do see it go any lower, I think 2,500, we could definitely find some support. for Ethereum.
Yeah, really since beginning of September, we had about like a nice 26% pump there. It looks like for
Yeah.
ETH. As far as it goes, like top of the candle, top of the wick goes, but yeah, I like to see that as well, man. I like to see ETH finally kind of make a little return. We were definitely looking at those 2100 levels, and we held pretty well there. We had a lot of those liquidation levels we were looking at in DeFi Llama, so I'm glad we held above those. Didn't see any like snowball effect from liquidations, but even now, like I want to see us kind of hold that 2500 level. If we can hold above, I'm looking at it on the weekly. Even on a daily, it looks nice too. But if it holds above that 2500, I think we could see another pump up back above like 2800 and maybe continue up there. But it looks like we could see some resistance about 2900.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a very key level for Ethereum.
What are you guys' opinions on the network, like the inside tokens and stuff like that for Ethereum?
As in, like
L2,
like
meme
L2.
coins,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, stuff that's on the network, not just the token itself, but actually the stuff that's on the network or behind the network.
I feel like the altcoins on ETH and layer 2s and stuff kind of having a similar rejection as the rest of the market. And we're at some key levels where if we could hold, it could be enough for another leg up. But it has been slow. It's been a day. It's been a pretty bearish day today, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, comparatively, last week was just a straight.
Yeah.
Last week, everyone thought we were gonna go to the moon. We were like
breaking
on
out,
the moon
right?
trajectory.
Yeah,
but,
for real.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly natural pullback here. As long as we capture some support, we can continue
Pretty
on.
healthy.
Yeah, I mean, would we have liked to see a lesser pullback and continue to rally? Probably, for it to really be a nice breakout. But this pullback, even if it retraces the gains from last week, isn't anything too wild. It's unfortunate it's happening today and maybe not a day from now. Some of those months and closes are going to look a little less positive. I was just looking at that on the Bitcoin side of things, and it does, instead of getting a higher high, we're getting a lower high off of this monthly candle at the moment, as it gets close to closing. So, overall, it is what it is, right? But Bitcoin itself, I think, is strong in there. One thing I found really interesting, and I wanted to bring up, maybe not in the sense of kind of what my analysis says on it, but I know BlackRock just came out with a kind of a research article or an article on blockchain and crypto and Bitcoin primarily. But what I found interesting was this chart here. And just taking a look at it and almost looking at this like quartering, or almost like the diminishing multiples that you're seeing. And what I looked at was this 104 to 21, 5x, which is kind of where 75K was. If we're saying, the rate of returns are kind of decreasing, what we've seen over the last few cycles, that would suggest that we may have topped. So it's still not out of the question, but again, the general sentiment, the overall energy behind crypto, et cetera, it just seems like it's so much more on. But then that's almost, again, identifies the fact that maybe we're into a new form of cycle, right? Where instead of having topped, it's a more gradual move up, and the pullbacks maybe aren't quite as vicious. But we'll see. I mean, Bitcoin becomes more of a commodity. It gets more into financial infrastructure. Things will change in the terms of the way cycles operate. So just always kind of keep that in mind and say, okay, just because in the past we have gone all the way to the moon doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to do it again.
Right.
Right. So, you got to be measured with what you're doing and moving in. I'm still very bullish in the sense of like, I think we're still reaching all-time highs, etc. But with the caveat of, hey, there are signals out there that contradict maybe the true bullish sentiment of it all. So,
That's a very interesting. I mean, if Bitcoin's going to drop 80%, and if it only 5x's, you're never going to get a significant all-time high, basically. And so we're probably going to see. I mean, how they're measuring it is kind of weird as well. It's by going from the bottom to the top.
Mhm.
If I was going to look at this chart, it's log also, so you're probably looking at like 15 to 20K, if that.
Yeah.
I don't actually
20K on a bit of a pullback from 75 is kind of what I calculated.
When I went back and looked at each halving, so like July 4th, I don't know if that's the exact day because I'm on the weekly thing right now, but in July of 16, we were at like $700 for Bitcoin, but either way, the all-time high wasn't hit till about a year after the halving. And same with the halving in 2020. Now this year we hit the all-time high before we even got to the halving. So it's definitely going to be a little bit different, I would say, this time around. It's new money for sure. I think it could slow the market down even in general. Won't be so volatile. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I feel like by the end of the year we might have a good confirmation on if we could see higher.
Yeah, Rhodes, that was an interesting chart. It's I think even thinking about it too, Bitcoin specifically works so much, I think, different, in these last few years, obviously in what you pulled up there. I mean, it's interesting to look at too, because you also keep in mind kind of something that Garrison brought up too, but like, the halving and really just kind of the history of Bitcoin and what's happened with it. And then now what we have now, where we're kind of on the more of the uprising of mass adoption, I would say, more institutional adoption, and maybe even just more retail adoption. I think as that happens, I don't know, it's hard to say too, because from 50 to 100K is only 100%, but those bigger returns happen at a smaller scale, right? You go from 1 cent to 2 cents, you're 100% returned, 2 to 4, and so it's interesting to look at that too. But honestly, I think in the long term, bro, I hope to see that Bitcoin still statistically continues up at like a 50% rate.
Yep.
Per year.
Yeah. Here's another one. Although when you think of this one, it's, and as a data analyst, you can often make data tell whatever narrative you want it to tell by cherry picking. So, this is a bullish case for Bitcoin as a document, or at least that's the way I perceive it. So you look at this and it says, okay, the return of Bitcoin after black swan type events is far more significant than S&P 500, gold, etc. But if you were to look at those declines during those exact same events, I guarantee that Bitcoin has also fallen more than those as well. So it's not necessarily returning that store of value, even though that's one of their key elements at the beginning of the document of benefits of Bitcoin, right? So either way, I think it's a positive document, and it's pushing that narrative and adoption overall, and we'll continue to see inflows into Bitcoin. And that's where, even though you do the math and say, okay, well, maybe a 5x is only what's going to happen this cycle, and we already crested and we already happened, but there's just way too much momentum in behind that. I still think we gotta push higher. So but interesting kind of counter narratives and interesting kind of ways to look at it from BlackRock's perspective as well.
I kind of have like a little tinfoil hat moment right now too. There's not really any data backing this or anything, but maybe BlackRock's just trying to get us to sell all our Bitcoin to them.
There you go. Right.
They're like, "Yep, it's bearish, guys. Get rid of it."
Yeah. So we got a new monthly candle here. So we are still
Yeah.
in this downtrend. Would have been nice to see it close up
This is the month right
Yeah.
here.
above
This is the month right here.
64.5. But
This is the
yeah,
month we break it.
this is the month that we
Damn,
can
I like that
pop
actually.
out of there.
Should we move on? What do you guys think for the best place to allocate Bitcoin, ETH, or Sol? What are you guys looking at right now?
Like to buy it or hold it, you're saying?
To buy in right now, like the next, I mean, super short term, let's say next month to 3 months.
I forget Bitcoin if it's short term, bro. If it's short term, I actually would say probably Solana. If you're trying to stick like the top three, like Solana, ETH, and Bitcoin. If you're picking out of those three, bro, I would personally say Solana. Little biased opinion because
I might say,
I like
yeah.
and hold Solana, but yeah, as far as like the market, even the chart goes too, I like it. I want to see us hold probably what is that back down on the daily. I want to see us hold really above that 140, 42, 143 level. I want to see us hold above that, and I think we might actually see a retracement to that level, maybe another scale in there, and maybe even, dude, even if we go to 132, I wouldn't be that upset. But as far as percent return, I would say probably Solana.
I don't quite agree in the sense of Solana, but I do agree that I don't think we're in a capital preservation mode at this point. I think when we look at we're now officially into Q4, depending on where you're located, etc. But in GMT, we're now into Q4. Q4 is historically, especially in election years, been just such a strong quarter, and you're looking at the upside of what crypto can provide, and Bitcoin you would expect to lag some of the other alternatives out there. So I may lean a little bit more towards ETH, just given that it's lagged behind, but I think it's really close. I think an allocation between the two, and then maybe looking into something below in the terms of like whether or not you're looking at Ton or Sui or anything like that, may also be interesting to sprinkle in there. But yeah, your Bitcoin allocation may be a little more light going into this kind of run and cycle where we're at now. Now, if we continue to downtrend and we don't get this push up this quarter, then your allocation of not being in Bitcoin is going to be more harmful.
Facts.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
since ETH
Go
is a
ahead, my
little
bad.
underperforming, I might pick that at the moment. But I am a big fan of Solana because I feel like it'll probably overtake within the next year or two, market cap terms.
That'd be
Yeah,
sick,
if we
bro.
move on
Got a
to,
lot of
move
room
on
to
to
climb,
alts, I
though,
know
for
people got a
sure.
hard stop in like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
good call.
Thanks, Tanksy.
short term wise, other coins, Compound or Uniswap, I'm really excited to see something happen in the next month or so. I'd like to see it happen tomorrow, but
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Seeing uni above $6 or $7 really, bro, is nice again. I think last week I called out some. I think it was maybe Render. I wanted to see move up, kind of at a pivotal level. We broke above it. I'm definitely I'm super bullish on Render right now. GRT I think was another one I looked at as far as alts go. Kind of same thing. That one didn't really break our pivotal level there. We're still holding about 17 cents, which is nice. Still decent area to DCA in. Link, Chainlink, kind of same thing. We saw it kind of resist those levels a little bit. We're still holding 1166. It'd be nice to see us hold that and continue up. But yeah, Garrison, I like Uni too. It's one of the largest decentralized exchanges by large numbers, at least last time I checked.
Yeah, I know bull market back in the day, they've done more transactions in a day than like Visa and MasterCard and stuff. So they could have a lot of power, and I think it's just going to be around long term for sure.
Actually, I've been wanting to ask this for quite a while, and I know you guys don't use the bots as much as I do, but how do you guys think Telegram bots and things like that affect the price of Uniswap? Isn't it used through Uniswap or something like that? I'm genuinely curious about this.
There is different decentralized exchanges. I'm not exactly sure how it would affect the price or anything. It might help if they're being used more.
Yeah, the bots normally don't have their own dexes. They're basically like user interfaces for trading. They route their trades through a dex anyways.
And I would assume they probably have like a handful of like dexes that they're routing them through to, maybe best price, and who knows, maybe they're kind of taking a little bit of the spread off of it too. but but honestly, bro, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it depends
Interesting
on
to think
which
about.
ones they use. If you make the bot, then like it depends how big the bot is too. I think you kind of almost get into like a what is it, like a let's say Garrison owned like the bot company, and I own the decentralized exchange, bro, and hey, bro, route your bots through here type deal, and we'll hook you up. But I don't know. It depends. I don't know if there's that much going on behind the scenes in the DeFi world, or if it's more smart contract and forget the buddy deals and the traditional business. But interesting concept, bro. But I think it just depends on where they're routing. Like Danksy said, where they route them to which exchange or which DEX.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if you could somehow find that. I guess you'd have to look at like the ether scan and everything to figure out the bots and stuff. But
yeah, and I kind of think about it too. Imagine, like, think about it when you swap on your ledger. When you swap on your ledger, bro, it gives you an option of which exchange you want to go through. And half the time, like some of the exchanges that it usually recommends, like I'm not really that familiar with them. So
I mean, in reality, it's where the liquidity pools are, right? So individual dexes have liquidity pools, and then the meme coin, usually meme coins have like one liquidity pool and maybe two, but if it's one, then you're going through that specific dex the whole time anyways.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just genuinely curious about that because I know they use different. They don't have their own decks, like you said, so I didn't know how that actually affected the price volume or anything like that on the dexes themselves. So that was just a question. I don't want to hold up. I know we got a shortstop coming soon, but I was just curious about that.
no, you're good. Good question. That's interesting. I want to see if I can do some research on that.
Any other alts we want to call out or take a look at?
Sui's been on a run recently. I think today has been a couple days been pulled back, but it's on a run. I mean, it's probably the one to look out for in the next month or two.
Sui is right there battling with Solana in terms of what it's capable of and the type of chain it is, and I think it's just continuing to produce really positive momentum. Now, one thing to keep in mind that market cap wise, it's fairly large, even though it's $1.77. It looks totally cheap, right? I mean, that's the only hold back to it, but I mean, it still has quite a ranged move there. So,
yeah,
last
the
one
tokenomics aren't as sexy, but
mhm.
I'm sure the project. I'm not familiar with it. I'd actually like to look into it. But as far as tokenomics go, like you said, they don't look the greatest, but it doesn't really usually matter when the projects itself are, incredible.
It's kind of actually rejected at my trend line, but XRP made a little bit of a move this week finally. But I don't really know how I feel about XRP anymore.
Still a stable coin, bro. Until it breaks $1 and beyond, I'm calling it a stable coin.
Yeah, I mean, I get the shillers on TikTok and Instagram now on XRP. So the euphoria phase is almost here.
Yeah, right. If you could let me share my screen real quick, I have one last one, and it's just Aave. I just want to share my screen and kind of show it here, but Aave is one of those, and Maker as well. But funny enough, Maker's actually rebranding themselves, so they're now
Yeah.
called Sky. So I don't know how I feel about that, bro. Again, they were one of the largest, and the thing is too. Also, they had low tokens. They had like 100K to or like
Are-
under 1 million tokens.
Are they trying to stablecoin with Sky?
They're
So,
doing it's
well-
called USDS, I think.
But Maker has its own stablecoin. Maker's DAI.
So yeah, you can trade DAI for USDS and Maker for Sky token.
And that's like at a fixed rate, I think, of like 24,000 Sky to 1 Maker.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I'm not really a fan of it so far, just because it's new.
I feel like it's
everything new.
I feel like it like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. Why can I not? I don't know. There's a lot
good,
into
bro.
the market there. It like doubles the size of them, kind of, so.
Yeah, it does. No, it does. But I like for this run, bro, the last run we've had, I love looking at Aave now. In the past couple Mondays, I've referenced this as like an early indicator, and even for coming down too, right? We see the market kind of resisted here at the 180. When I seen a stop there again, not really that surprising, especially when you zoom out and look. Just it's a bigger fib level of a 61.8% level, but even here we're holding. I want to see us hold that 154, and from there, bro, I mean, I'm bullish on the rest of really all altcoins. We hold this and continue up, break that 180, bro, and it's like I'm super bullish. But Aave will be my last dude. I mean, amazing project, huge all-time highs, but yeah, overall great project, and it's nice to utilize as an early indicator. So I think if we hold that 154, we could see a lot of these alts continue up too. don't know if
NFTs have
anybody-
had a pretty slow last couple weeks as well.
You want to pull up Doge and then we can go to NFTs and meme coins.
Doge.
Actually, I was going to ask you about that, Banksy, because I know you're the Doge guy. We've had this conversation so many times. I didn't see it personally, but I seen a lot of things talking about Elon posting about the Doge retrace. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe it's just rumor, but I actually wanted to ask you about that.
Not familiar with the Doge retrace, but I think once it hits like that 20 cents mark, 15, 17 cents mark, the Elon impact will definitely be there. I think right now it's kind of too early, but it's been moving pretty well the last week with everything as well, right? But just this drawdown, it's quite normal for everything.
You see his latest post there with the Doge in
Didn't he post like a
Department
meme
of Government
picture?
Efficiency? He
Yeah.
stuck
yeah,
Doge
he
in
always
there
posts
instead of
that.
just calling it the Doge DOGE. He's getting a little more brazen with it, is what he's doing.
Oh, Elon.
So he's definitely working on the Doge pump, whichever way he can here. So no, I agree that your belief in Doge will come through for you, Danksy. Yeah, I mean a break above 20 would be just pure.
That's
pure
when
good.
that's when you get the Robin Hood buyers, the real money coming in.
Yeah, that's the FOMO. I don't see it really stopping after that, especially through the bull market. Maybe the bear market, it'll get a trade, but after 20 cents, it's like that's when FOMO actually kicks in.
Well, maybe I have FOMO now.
Well.
The pre-FOMO. That's the FOMO.
If you have yeah, and then the actual FOMO kicks in, that's even worse.
Right. Yeah, NFTs, hard pivot.
Yeah.
From Doge, but volume wise has been pretty strong overall. The last handful of days here, an uptick to a pretty quiet early September, which is excellent. Most metrics overall are kind of back to baseline after, like I said, a quiet couple of weeks in September there, including users and active new buyers, etc. everything
saw it
pushing
was
back
the
up.
lowest monthly volume since 21.
Yeah, it definitely would have been, because you can see this like mid-September to up until the last handful of days here was really just super slow volume wise. Seeing some good art movement, seeing some all right NFT sales, etc. Pudgies have been pretty strong in their continual momentum. And so, like, you know, the projects are still working hard and
100%.
you know, delivering, etc. It's this general quiet that we've had. I don't know. I think you know, you're looking for opportunities on retracements. The thing is you're going to be waiting for that pullback on some of these NFTs, and then all of a sudden they're just going to collectively take a rip. And that's the way they kind of tend to move, unless there's some kind of big news events. But even them, you know, nothing seems to move it too significantly. You know, I keep highlighting Azuki in the sense that, you know, if there's a news event or catalyst, it's probably going to come from them. And so, you know, they're one that you're not going to necessarily want to wait on quite as much before a move up. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a matter of a bit of pullback and kind of buy in at lower levels here as things kind of progress forward. So,
And then typically NFTs go down a little bit when ETH goes up, kind of canceling out the USD price, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So, not surprised there. We did have this year in March, I saw, was also like one of the best months we've had. And then now we're at one of the slowest months.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
NFTs
I think. Oh, go ahead. You're good.
NFT is definitely a second wave type of asset class, if you can call it that. After Bitcoin, maybe ETH, Sol, and then the alts run, you'll probably see more NFT activity there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just want to say to Garrison's point, it's I think NFTs are more based off of like a USD value compared to like an ETH value. So like when ETH goes up, the floor price drops, but the USD value tends to stay around the same. So that's where you get that valuation in the ETH price. But
we need to see another project run from like 1 ETH to 10 ETH like Pudgies did, and then it'll bring some excitement back.
well, actually, I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know how much you've been in the chat lately. I wanted to bring it up. I also did just get 3 Quirk OGs, so I did want to throw it out there. But there's a lot of news going around what Poppy's doing with Quirks, and he says there's a lot of big things coming. I can't really say exactly what, but
So
I'm excited for it.
I don't remember what night it was, but I actually had a Quirky's dream
That's
the other
awesome.
night.
Bullish.
I think Poppy was trying to take over the collection. So like I don't know if he was trying to buy out Sin, I think, in the move there. So I don't know if that was positive or negative, but you know,
Yeah, I
really
don't know.
got
I said
Quirky's on the
bullish.
mind
I don't know
when.
how that's.
He's implementing the idea into your head. He's implementing that idea to everyone right now. That's his move.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a good amount listed right at like they're holding 1 ETH very strong, but there's a lot listed at like 1.0.
Yeah, I went from I think like 70, 80 to about 120 listed, but the price did go up. It went from like 0.8 to 1 ETH, and it's staying around there.
I remember we were talking about
they're leading away on the
started.
month, in terms of the major collections I have listed and followed. So they're up almost 40%. The 1 ETH level I think is pretty good range of support. You tend to move really fast, so you don't want to get caught behind on them.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got 3 OGs. I'm actually trying to get a Grail. I'm trying to trade for a Grail. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm bullish on Quirk. I'm bullish on Poppy actually.
Might cost you 2 OGs to get a Grail. Some of them are fire.
Yeah, that's what he's asking, man. I don't. I think it's worth it, but I don't know, man. It's a trade I'm scared of. I don't know. The one I'm trying to get is actually really cool, and I don't want to say his name, but there's somebody I control with it because he has one kind of like it, but it's like the step up from it. So I'm kind of trying to troll him a little bit with it. It would be funny, but I don't know. I'm bullish on Poppy and I'm bullish on quirks in general, and that's like my latest big play on NFTs.
Yeah, I feel like you can never go wrong. Not financial advice, but
You
just
could,
something
but
it's a
don't.
good, it's a good product, it's a good stable coin, you know. They tend to be pretty stable. That would be the
Speaking of
ideal one to
NFTs.
run from 1 to 10 ETH. If I were to pick.
All I gotta say is hop in the chat and see what's being said. I don't know. There's some bullish things going on, so I'm excited for it. I think I got in at a good time. Like, I really can't tell the future, but I don't really see him stopping it. I don't see the courts giving up, so I'm bullish on him.
Facts.
I do know we
Perfect.
got a hard stop coming. Is there other projects on NFTs you guys are excited about, or I know Danksy likes to do the meme coins with me.
Yeah, we can go
throw
ahead
'em
and
out
jump
there,
over
but-
to meme coins. There's not.
Yeah, let's look at DGod, see what they're doing. That's the
DGod.
NFT to meme coin transition I like to do.
Yeah, well, they are still lagging in the terms of the last 30 days. They're down the most.
I'm confused.
Bit of a pullback move off this kind of low point consolidation that we've seen. I guess last week we would have been somewhere around here. So yeah, I mean we're up from where we were last week. Only a few million in the terms of overall market cap. So
Are they
they-
on every
they're-
blockchain? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Like I know they're on Solana and Ethereum. I was just kind of confused about that.
yeah, I think you probably can still find some on Polygon. I'm not sure, but yeah, they are both Solana and Ethereum. I think they
okay.
want to fully be on Solana, but
And is
it's
this
an
their coin right here that we're
optional
looking at?
bridge. Yeah, so they have to claim the coin. You can burn your Ute or
Ooh,
trade in your DGod into a 404 pool, which then
dang.
you can then trade back in to pull out a DGod, etc. I think a DGod's 550 million token value.
It's kind of interesting there.
And so, yeah. And then the DGods themselves have kind of repriced to that valuation, and it will reduce the supply on Utes. It will produce likely higher quality Utes that don't get burned, that sort of thing. So, there are some interesting elements to it. The only issue is, well, one, I think the meme is just not good. And the other part is it introduces a bit of, it just changes the dynamic, right? Because NFTs are beloved in goods. They're not meant to really be super liquid. And then when you add this crazy liquidity to it all, you kind of get this blur effect where excess liquidity or extra liquidity just means kind of a willingness to sell and constant sell pressure.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
last time when we talked about this that like I like the idea theoretically of 404s, but I do remember it started with Fluffy, and the actions of what 404s have done just haven't been well. Like I haven't, like I said last time, I haven't seen something that like would be like, oh wow, this is the next big thing. Like every time somebody does it, it kind of like it does this. Like I said, Fluffy's went up to 30 million and tanked down to nothing, and it kind of just disappeared. And that was like one of the first runners of doing it. So I like the idea theoretically, because you would think it would make it deflationary in a way, people are selling tokens to get NFTs, or people are selling NFTs to get tokens. It would be deflationary in a way, but it's just I haven't seen the action of it working out positively yet. So I wasn't really too
It
bullish on
speeds
this
up that
action.
NFT process, NFT cycle like 10 times basically.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I'm sorry.
It speeds up the NFT cycle like 10 times. It's basically mimics a meme coin cycle for NFTs.
Right. So like I feel like it's just like an exit point. Like you could use it to just get out of like either a token or an NFT if you wanted to get out of either. But I don't know. I like it. It sounds good theoretically. I just haven't seen the action work out positively yet. So I'd like to see it work out like it sounds theoretically, but I just haven't seen it yet.
Chart's looking better. it's not as nasty as it looked before. So it's it's surviving for the moment. I'll be curious to see where we are at next week. Could be some resistance off this 1 hour here, but a bit of a push out of the lulls there. So on the other side of it, though, we have
You want to pull up
The-
Nero? What's the Nero looking like?
Nero. Nero has stayed level this past
Jeez.
week.
That's
Stay
such a
lost,
beautiful
please.
chart.
Right. This is held this 500,000 range roughly over the last week. I still think there's good belief that Nero is the next to $1 billion. Although maybe there's others there that'll challenge that, like Mudang. But I think overall Nero is holding well, which is good to see. Not a lot of price action after a pretty violent run up there to
No, I think
$500 million.
this kind of chart pattern is pretty. I'd say it's pretty bearish, right? If it's consolidating like this, especially on such a what is it, like 7 days now. I probably expect some pullback at some point. The steam is just not there anymore for it, or like
I kind of
the
saw
fuel.
that line that you just put there, and then at like I think it's 350 mil could be a potential nice little range there.
Yeah, usually when it comes to something like this, it's you got the early adopters who made a huge bag and they're kind of leaving, and then people are FOMOing into the hype that was created from those early adopters. So it's kind of like a cycle of members that I've noticed with multiple other tokens where like the old people leave, the new people come in, and it's like it depends on what the vibes of the new people are. If they're going to be as bullish as the old or the early adopters, I should say, or if they're just like looking for a quick flip to put some money in. But that consolidation phase is actually it's really, really important.
There's like 2 weeks of just all new holders for the most part, right? Like you go from September 15th, 14 million to 500 million within like
Right.
a week.
Yeah, it's kind of scary though, because you got to think them early adopters, they were looking for a much larger game. Like we ran from the bottom up to what 4 or 500 million, and then you have the new people. They come in. Like, do you really expect it to hit like a 10 or 100x from there, or like you looking for a 2x, or you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I said, it's really dependent on the vibes of the new holders that come in.
Mudang with quite a large pullback here.
Which is that the 30-minute?
This is the 30-minute here. So big breakout. We were looking at this last week at this 100 mil mark. Of course, 100 mil up to 200 mil is always a fast run. For any kind of meme coin that's breaking out, you can see this fast run to 200 mil, pull back to 175, and then it ran all the way up to 330, 340. Now we're looking at just about a 50% kind of rate in this 164 range. So it's you look for a bounce off this range here, and above from that range to see if it's gonna continue its momentum. Of course, there was so much that happened over the last few days on it that it's gonna need a little bit of a cool off here. So thoughts
Yeah, I was
on
gonna say
Mudang?
something when you mentioned it. I've seen when it kind of topped out. I've seen a ton of derivatives that came out of Mudang, the Muon, and all these different derivatives that came out of it. And usually, when you get that, you had them early adopters that are trying to rotate money, so it kind of does always get like a pullback, and then it goes from there depending on how the derivatives do. But I did see a ton of derivatives, like secondary narratives coming out of it. So Wasn't really sure how it was going to do when I seen that, but I did see a ton of them come out.
Motherfucking Moodang, bro. I slept on it, boys. Slept on the Moodang. Danksy, did I hear you say earlier in the call there was a pesto one too you were looking at? Maybe I misheard you.
Pesto Penguin.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
a
someone else
penguin.
said that. Not me. Someone else.
Okay.
Someone
was it
told
yeah,
me
there
about
was
some penguin meme.
Pesto's not surviving.
no, he's not, bro. I was curious because I figured since there was a Moodang one, there was a pesto one.
There are Easy Eats is traveling to this zoo to live tweet the NFT, the various, not the NFT, sorry, but the various animals that are in the zoo, because they all have names, and we'll be looking for ones that stand out. So
That
I'm
is
sure
crazy.
this this whole kind of narrative isn't quite over yet.
No, not
What
yet.
zoo is this? What zoo
There's
is
a
it?
lot of options.
I think it's in I don't honestly I don't know. I almost said Australia, but I don't think that's right.
No. Mudang, Philippines, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Thailand? Was it
Oh,
Thailand?
I don't know.
I'm not quite
So
sure. I seen some.
pesto
For some reason, when you
pesto
said
is
that,
in
Thailand
oh,
popped
my
up.
bad. Pesto's
No, you're
in
good, go ahead.
Melbourne Aquarium in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
another one of
just
them
taking
memes of mine.
famous zoo animals, and away we go.
Yep.
This is the
Noah's
new
Ark,
narrative.
and we're off.
Was there an Harambe token before?
I feel like that was
Harambe is one that exists and is a good bet.
That had to be a
maybe
good
another
10 years
monkey will
ago
pop out
now.
of this.
Yeah, the Bren from our Wednesday spaces,
Yeah.
he's a huge Harambe.
Huge Harambe guy. Yeah.
He loves Harambe. He would have stepped in front of the bullet. Or
Not even just a meme coin, but like, yeah, not even just a meme coin, but dude, the Harambe memes and just like in general news and everything was huge. I remember when that thing came out and it was everywhere.
For real.
I do want to mention, I don't know when this hard stop is coming. I know we just passed an hour, but I do want to mention something we talked about last week. I brought up and we talked about a little bit was that strawberry AI, and I mentioned it around like 18 million, and then they went to East Milan, like I talked about, and they actually ran up to about 32, 33 million. And now I haven't looked at it once today, so I don't know what the price is at today. But I did mention it last week, and then they went to Milan, and it did quite well after that. So, what price is it at right now?
Nice.
I did not have any time last week
2x.
to look at it. 2x. He's just giving us free money out
Free
here.
alpha.
Look at that.
Crypto
But,
bird.
32 mil. Yeah.
That's
That
crazy.
early
Nice run
bird.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Early
it did run up
bird.
pretty well. Like I said, they had a bunch of merch come out, and they went to East Milan. I didn't see. I've been extremely busy with work and everything else, and haven't had time to really look at it. But I do know they had a ton of merch coming out, and they had a bunch of stuff going around from East Milan. And I did see them hit. I think it was the all-time high was around 32, 33 mil. So I don't. I got to look into it myself as well. I was kind of wondering if you guys had the time to check on it and see if you guys found out anything. But it did have a pretty good run after that call from last week.
2x. Yeah. It's better than pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
3x next week. 3x next week if I don't buy it for sure. Watch this.
You can't do that to yourself, dude.
Maybe I should buy if Dinksy's not.
If you don't buy it, bro, we're gonna get like, it's gonna be crazy.
Let me know if you do or not, and I'll double down. It's just playing.
Yeah. If no one else is buying, make sure you double down because it's cruising. Now it's at a nice kind of support range here too.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, I worked over 40 hours over the weekend, and I've been extremely busy with the kids and everything going on. So I didn't have much time to kind of look into it. It's just kind of been sitting there for me. So I'll have to look into it and see if I can come up with some new news for it. But I liked it before, and I still like it. And well, especially depending on what I find out. But supposedly the utility is supposed to release really, really soon. And apparently, if they went to ETH Milan and at 2x, they like it. So I can only hope for the best, but I don't want to. I don't want to give false dreams. I have not really done much research on it from the last week, so I'll have to check in on it, and we'll see if we can get another update on it next week. But I did want to mention that because like I said, it did have a pretty good run that I noticed, and I had no idea what the price was today, so I just wanted to look at the chart too.
Yeah, I mean it's looking pretty good here. So I kind of like where it's at right now. Maybe as low as 23 entry wise, but right in this range here, I think is a pretty good spot. Pushes below 22.5, then maybe you're back out again and seeing where it kind of settles in. But right off this range, I think is an interesting spot for it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll do my research this week. I got a couple free days this week, so I'll do my research on it and see what happens. And for anybody listening, I hope they do their research on it because I did not. So I'll check up on it and see. Is there anything else that you guys are looking at? Any new narratives or anything like that on meme coins or? Actually, what did I? Never mind. There was a dog, a Shiba derivative that I seen that did I think it was Hannah, if I'm not mistaken, that did very, very well. I could be wrong, but I did see that was all over Telegram. It was a Shiba derivative. I'm pretty sure it was Hannah, but it kind of blew up from what I
Isn't
seen.
that an old coin? I feel like there's an old coin that's Hannah.
Dude, nowadays, like we talked about, there's so many coins released that it's like they just double down on it. Like, let's make a new one and send it again. So, like, it could have been done 4 or 5 times for all I know.
That's exactly it. There's Hannah. Yeah, 62%.
Oh yeah, I did. That was it. It's a Shiba derivative. It's supposed to be the name of one of the dogs, and then there's another one that happened, but I think it dumped. It was like the twin brother name, and it didn't do very well. But I did see this, and I seen it all over Telegram. I checked Telegram for like 3 minutes the other day, and it was on like 6 channels. Oh my god! I didn't ape into it. It wasn't something I bought, but I did see it kind of blow up. So maybe you're dope.
That's a whole nother conversation for maybe another time. Is the Telegram channel coordination, so to speak. There's a little bit of a backstory on that, but kind of a teaser for maybe next time. Hannah looks good where it's at, in this kind of run push up. You could see it move, maybe fill that wick up 33, 34 mil. But yeah, no, it's.
I'm telling you right now, this week, we're gonna look back on Hannah next week. It's to be like 100 mil, and he's gonna give us free alpha 2 weeks in a row that we have both that we slept on, and we're gonna feel bad for sure.
100%.
5 episodes in, I'm gonna give you one, and you're gonna finally ape, and then you're gonna lose money. I'm like, God damn it!
That's how it works. That's how it works. They gotta pay
luck,
me to not ape.
Yeah,
they gotta pay me a retainer to not ape, so it can go up.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta cut it. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Can't wait until next week. See where we're at that point in time. I hope everyone has a good week, and look forward to what is going to be the start of up only action, according to everyone on the streets. It's October, so let's see it.
Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Let's crush this week.
Cheers. Take care, everyone.
Peace out.
Bye.
Take care. See you guys.
See you guys.